Hello, vinyl community people. It's Mike, MGK Boston, back on a Friday. Yes, I'm at the back end of this cold COVID, whatever you want to call it. Feeling a lot better today. I might actually go for a run on Saturday. So yeah, just a little raspiness now. So yeah, better days ahead. So speaking of better days ahead, this is a video for my friend Jack over at the Vinyl Martini. My friend on Vancouver Island over there in the beautiful city of Victoria. Being from Canada, I know the geography, and it is a beautiful city, and I have been there, but it was a long time ago. And anyway, Jack's having a contest. He's having a push to 600 subscribers. I think he should go for 6 million, but he's just being conservative. Myself, I'm going for 1 million, as you're aware, until February 14th when I draw the name out of a hat. But this video is about Jack, and he's pushing to 600. So I thought, really great idea. He said the $100 Canadian to a charity of your choice. So that's really great. So if I win, Jack, donate it to some sort of animal charity in Colton's name, if you would, right? He'd appreciate that. Take care of his friends, right? So anyway, he wants us to show, Jack that is, a discography. It doesn't have to complete, was my understanding, of an artist or artists. I think he showed two, I think. He did Family, and I forget the other one. The guy from Family, he showed some solo stuff. I didn't know that band, but I'm going to look them up. They do sound a little proggy, but I'll give it a shot. But anyway, there's stuff that we don't normally see in the vinyl community, so I thought, hey, I can do that. So, and speaking of charity and cheering on those that don't have as much as the rest of us, that's subscribers I'm talking about. Yeah, I mean, why don't, I've said this always in my videos, I've never understood why the mega channels, who shall remain unnamed, a lot of them, they just never mention other of the smaller channels. And I can tell you, when I was below 100, and Greg over, I think, the Vinyl Rundown, he gave me a shout out, and I got like 2,500 25 subscribers. It was when I did the vinyl tag a couple of years ago. So that's really meaningful. So anyway, he wants us to give a shout out to 2 subscribers. I'm going to go for 3 because they deserve it. Embarrassment of Riches, which is a fairly new channel. I'll leave a link to his latest video. Really good guy. He's coming in right now at 56 subs. Let's get him over to 100,000 maybe. Who knows? Yeah, Doug Anderson. I don't get it. Doug's been around I've been watching Doug for about 2 years. Puts out a lot of content, super chill guy. He's from the Midwest here in the States. A lot of good classic rock. He's got a huge collection. He just did a tour of his basement because he sells it at record fairs and shows. Got a ton of stuff, man. So Doug Anderson, that's just the name of his channel, is his name. Check him out. Again, at 212. Come on, give this guy some subscribers. And then my friend down in New Zealand, I've been watching him the past year, probably about the past year, because he's fairly new too. And that's Keith at Attack from Down Under. He spells it Down Under with an A instead of under. So he's down in New Zealand. So I'll leave links to all 3 of those channels. Please go over there and subscribe to them. Tell them MGK Boston sent you over there. And it doesn't cost anything, right? So I think my friend Berwickshire Mike, I remember him saying that at one point. Like, it doesn't cost anything. Give someone a sub. Do it. So anyway, I'm going to dive right into this. Yes, so this is Dave Brubeck and Paul Desmond. Of course, Paul Desmond on alto sax, Dave Brubeck on piano. This is a reissue, remastered from 1982, but originally recorded in 1952 and 1953 across a couple of different venues, Hollywood, California, Boston at the former Storyville, which no longer exists, jazz club here in Boston, Over the Rainbow and You Go to My Head, both recorded at Storyville in October of 1952. And there's a shot of the 2 of them there. So yeah, just a duet, if you will. It's the saxophone and the piano. There's Dave right down there. So this reissue is basically remasters of these 2 records right here you see on the back. So it's Paul Desmond and Dave Brubeck, yes. And they would, with Joe Morello and forget the other guy on bass, they would round out the original quartet, but I'll get into that. So here's Dave Brubeck, live at Newport Jazz Festival in Rhode Island in 1956. You can see right there. So on one side of this, you've got the Dave Brubeck Quartet, and then on the other side, the J.J. Johnson Quintet. He was a sax player, band leader. So it's a split album. So A side is Dave Brubeck and then J.J. Johnson Quintet on the other side. So yeah, I should say I do not have the entire Dave Brubeck discography, but I got a lot of Brubeck here. Time Out, man. So yeah, here we go. This is probably his biggest record. Very well-known jazz record from 1959. We got the Columbia 6i right there. So yeah, the big hit, if you will, from the jazz world from this one. Of course, Take 5, and then Blue Rondo a la Turk right there, right? So yeah, it's Dave Brubeck Quartet. All right. Time Out. Time Further Out. When Time Out's not enough and you got to go further out, right here in 1961. Here it is. And it's just, Bruise Boogie Woogie. It's a Raggy Waltz. Yeah, it's good. And it's featuring Paul Desmond, Joe Morello on drums. Eugene Wright's the guy's name. I couldn't think of the stand-up bass player. But yeah, so yeah. Time Further Out. Some bossa nova action here. Bossa Nova USA. I do love my bossa nova, and this does not disappoint. Really great record from 1963. Title track, Bossa Nova USA, Trolley Song. Cantiga Nova Swing is also good. Let's see inside here. Yeah, still on Columbia. He was on Columbia for pretty much his whole career. So yes, get your Bossa Nova on right there. And where are we going next? Time Changes. It was a whole series. Basically all about, I'm not a musician, but it's about the timing, 4/2, whatever, all that business. I just listen to music. I don't play it. I don't play an instrument, but I do dig music, as you're well aware. So anyway, this is Time Changes, 1964. More of the Time series, Time In from 1966. Lost Waltz is a nice one on here. Traveling Blues. Yeah, still on Columbia right there. So this is probably one of my favorite jazz records of all time, and I've been listening to jazz since the 90s. This is when, so Joe Morello and Eugene Wright, they were out, and then he brought in Jerry Mulligan here, and who else we got? Alan Dawson on drums and Jack Six on bass. That would become the quartet from 1967 going forward. This is the first full-length LP they did, and it's a live album recorded in Mexico City, released in 1968. Lullaby to Mexico. That is just a beautiful song. Even if you don't like jazz, look that one up. It's just terrific. And there's a young Jerry Mulligan right there. Always thought a biopic of Dave Brubeck would be very watchable. Just an interesting guy. You look at old interviews. Very likable guy too. From Connecticut, and he lived and died in Connecticut. He's been dead for several years, but yeah, he's a former New England neighbor of mine. Here we are right here. Blues Roots. What is this? Blues Roots with the Dave. It's funny because he never called it, I don't know if it was a copyright thing. After the original quartet split in 67, they became known as the Dave Brubeck Trio, featuring Jerry Mulligan, right? It was a different kind of sax too. He played a baritone, a little lower, deeper sound. I really like it. I've got a bunch of Jerry Mulligan stuff too, because he had a trio, he had a sextet. Mulligan going back all the way to the 50s too, just like Brubeck. They were about the same age. Brubeck lived a lot longer than Jerry Mulligan though. So anyway, yeah, this is from the year on this one. I didn't want to say 1968. Yeah, I'm right on that. 1968. Blues Roots. All right. Live at Newport. So this is the last year. They had the Jazz Festival in Newport in 1972. They moved it temporarily to New York City. I believe Carnegie Hall was one of the venues. And then eventually in the 80s, it came back to Rhode Island. Forget what went on there, something with the promoters or whatever. They pulled out and then went in, and like I said, it moved to New York City for a number of years. In fact, makes me always think of this. I'm not the king of box sets, but I do have a few. And this is from, this one, 1971 was this date on this one. This is after they moved over Newport in New York in 72. So it was there, I believe, in New York City. This is a 6 LP box set. Yeah, Steve at All the World's a Stage would be proud. Box set. So anyway, yeah. So this is a really nice live set. My only complaint, it's too short. But you've got the track Blues for Newport clocking in at over 16 minutes. It's really great. And there's Alan Dawson and Jack Six right there, filling out the rhythm section. So yeah, and there's There's Jerry Mulligan over there on saxophone. Dave on the front on piano. All right, where are we now? All the Things We Are moving into the 70s. By 1973 for this one. In Your Own Sweet Way is a really nice one. And All the Things You Are, beautiful. That's a Oscar Hammerstein original. Very nice, clocking in at 7 minutes. All the Things You Are, yes. It's very interesting here. So he has his 3 sons who all became musicians, all jazz musicians. They look like they're in a psychedelic rock band at the time because this is 1973 and it's 2 generations of Brubeck. Chris Brubeck, I think that's Chris there, a lot older now. He's still running the band and they're still touring and they're based in Connecticut still too. And there's Dave there. Really cool. Yeah, they do a couple of really early Dave Brubeck pieces on here like Blue Rondo a la Turk that I mentioned from the Time Out release. That's on here. They do a really good interpretation of it. Just really cool playing with his sons. And there's a couple other side men right there. There's the guys. There's his 3 sons right there. So yeah, look at that right there. Fashion of 1973. 2 generations of Brubeck. All right, we got here. And yeah, so Paul Desmond got back together with Dave Brubeck, and then they did this. This one is 1975. It's just called The Duets. And there they are, an old photo. And there they are. Well, this is around when this came out in the 70s, I guess. But yeah, nice compilation of the duets from 1975 right there. So yeah, and then this reunion, not sure when this was, late 70s, the original quartet right there. All right, Joe Morello and Eugene Wright in the back. And there's Dave Brubeck down on the front. So yeah, this was a 25th reunion. This was recorded in 1976. I'm not sure of the venue. Doesn't say. Anyway, nice collection here, a live set, that reunion. And then more box sets. This is one of those book of the month things. This came out in 1980. It's called Early Fantasies. He's just fantasizing about more jazz. Yes. Nice. On the inside. So these are really nice things. If you ever see these out in the wild, really excellent, well done. Always remastered. Always come with a nice book. Lots of photos. So yeah, this is a 3 LP set. So yeah, again called Early Fantasies. Getting caught up in my box set. There it is, and it's Dave Brubeck. Really, really nice collection. Got that for $10 a few years ago. I mean, come on. All right, totally switching gears. I'm going to do another band here. So I've showed these guys before. If you're new to my channel, this will be new to you. Otherwise, it'll be like a repeat episode. But this is a complete discography I have from Manchester. It's Chameleons UK, post-punk, just masterful, terrific. Still together under the name Chameleons Vox. They actually just came through Boston a few months ago. I did not go. These second, third party ticket sellers, the prices were, it was $300 to see them at it's a nice venue here, a nice club, but no, I'm not paying that to go to a club show. It's just ridiculous. So it's too bad these sellers buy up the tickets and resell them and, you know, jack the prices up. I would have loved to see them. But it's a shame. It's kind of a shadow of the former band. The one guy, Reg, the guitar player, he's dead. Mark Burgess, the lead singer, is still happening, and he's fronting the band Chameleons Vox. But that's the debut. That's Script of the Bridge from 1983. Yes. All right, so we got the follow-up here. What does anything mean, basically, from 1985. Really good as well. And this is a live in studio session, kind of like a Peel Sessions thing. You can see the embedded hype thing here. Live session versions of Singing Rule Britannia and Pleasure and Pain. Pleasure and Pain was on the debut, and Singing Rule Britannia was on this one right here. So the second one. So that's a nice British import. I would have bought that back in high school. All these were purchased originals. When I was a lot younger, I was a huge fan, and these are all near mint because I take care of my stuff. And this was their third and final studio record. Total masterpiece, Strange Times. Actually, one of my most valuable records according to Discogs too. I think this is coming in around $100. I could be a little inflated, but most things are on Discogs. This was after the band broke up. Basically, Mark Burgess and one of the other guys, the keyboard player, the name escapes me. They formed this band. Sun and the Moon. Unfortunately, this was just pales in comparison to the Chameleons. It's just not that great, but I threw it on the other night and listened to it through. It does have a couple of moments on here, but it's certainly not a Chameleons record. So it's the Sun and the Moon, you know, it's Le Soleil, La Lune en français. So that's going to round it out. This is my contest entry for Jack at the Vinyl Martinis, pushed to 600 subscribers. Should be 600,000. The way Jack's, he's climbing, he's just ascending, into the vinyl community. Whatever it is, it's the place where there's a lot of subscribers, right? So it's that place where he's going. So anyway, I'm rambling, and this is my entry. Please check out those channels I recommended at the beginning of the video. They'll be in the description for you. And I'll see you again, maybe later today, who knows?